Here we go with a round recap of what happened towards the beginning of tonight's matches. Crazy and Flappy. Turned out that Flappy was able to take the series. Some beautiful Batman play against Crazy's Supergirl. And then the comeback from Horror Rewind with the Atrocitus. DJT is able to make a great appearance, but Horror Rewind took that series. And then the back and forth play of Acid versus Chico. Plenty of Batman for everybody. Turns out that Acid was the victor, 3-0 in that series. And then our fourth game of the night so far was Pretty Flacco versus C's. And Pretty Flacco was able to take it 3-1 with some nice dark side. Also seeing some good Cyborg play as well coming out from some of these top players. A lot of different tiers, a lot of different characters are being used. And look at the crazy dodging. Finally able to get the clash, then was able to get the victory as well. And we're just getting started for tonight, folks, for Los Angeles. So make sure that you're tuning in all night because we also have some more announcements from our friends at GameStop. First of all, the top 4 players out of the end of the season are going to the GameStop stores happening at 8 different locations. You guys can see those locations on your screen right now. This is happening August 12th, Saturday, and the tournament starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. When the players are competing, you guys are welcome to hang out, take pictures, enjoy the matches, and then we're going to have a correspondent interviewing the winner. After the matches are over, we're going to be bringing you guys the matches on the stream the next day, on Sunday. But if you do go to the stores, WB is going to have some swag for you guys. It's going to be a great time. If you can't make it out, make sure to tune in on Sunday for our broadcast. That's going to start at 9:30 in the morning Pacific time on Sunday the 13th. But if you go to the stores on the 12th, guess what? GameStop is having a sale. Check out the digital sale going on because we know it's summer and summer's not over yet. You can check out GameStop's digital sale and save up to 75% off select digital games, currency, and season passes. Visit GameStop.com/digital. And you can start your back-to-school savings at GameStop. Save 25% off backpacks, journals, t-shirts, and more. Now through Sunday, August 13th. For more information, visit GameStop.com. Okay, so we have a couple more matches lined up for you guys tonight. We want to hear from you on social media. We saw one tweet come in the broadcast a little bit earlier today. Use the hashtag Hometown Heroes, Twitter and Facebook, ESL Injustice, and we'll put your guys' tweets up on the broadcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's throw it back to the desk with Dustin Kane and Evan Hashimoto to kick off more of these LA matches. Gentlemen.
Thank you. And speaking of the other regions, actually we did hear that I believe New York will be the fan pick region.
York.
It will be. But before we get a look at them, let's look at some other regions that have played on Sunday, starting with Dallas, where Handy Savage has now moved above Ominous into that first place spot. I know you're happy about that.
Handy Savage. He is a friend of mine, but I also do like watching Ominous. Ominous has a very grounded play style, so he's slowly becoming one of the players that I enjoy watching more and more so. But then we have DSV Black and Maddox as well, who has pretty much, I think it's really interesting. Maddox hasn't played too much, but the first few weeks he dominated so hard that he's still in 4th place.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And then, of course, we have Chicago, which is actually, I believe, what we voted for. We both individually voted for Chicago for the fan choice. That's a very, very fun scene to watch, but we'll see more of them at regionals. And Perfect Legend barely holding that first place spot above Alcatraz with Get Wrecked, Mr. Hectic Gamer playing to win, etc. Continuing past that. But right now, we're talking about LA, we're talking about Los Angeles. Beautiful, sunny city we all live.
The most top tier of the regions. And when I say top tier, I don't mean that we're the best region. I mean, we literally only pick top tier. So that's what I'm referencing to.
Yep, apparently, which is what we've seen a lot of today. But moving on to our first match is actually not going to be a player from SoCal. However, he's always been a player who has traveled down to SoCal for tournaments, came down to a lot of the EGP tournaments.
DJT. Listen, Denzel, as far as I'm concerned, is SoCal. He's honorary SoCal. He's always been one of the homies, and him and his brother have always pretty much, they come to our weeklies.
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
They did. They came to quite a few weeklies, especially for Mortal Kombat 9. And yeah, they were actually honorary EGP. Of course, for those of you who don't know what EGP is, it's, you know, it's in my name. Crazy's EGP, Chico's EGP, DJT was honorary. It was honorary EGP. Quite a few people. It was the scene led by Brian Compton, who is actually here with us today. And that used to be the SoCal scene. It used to be 100% the SoCal scene. It's really where all of SoCal NRS started, raising so many great players. Tyrant, X-Blades, just everybody. Dustin's raising his hand right now, but I'm going to refuse to acknowledge that
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, EGP's always been a real amazing, important part of the scene, of the NRS scene in general. And yeah, that's really what we're all about. So that was just a little bit more history. There's a lot of history with a lot of these players today. For some reason, we really aren't seeing too many new players. The newest player here is like C's, and he's been around for like 4 years. So
it's a scene that just never grows too old, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I think Chico's the newest. But
yeah, he's the baby of the scene.
Even him, he's been around for quite a while. So we got a lot of old school players here. Acid,
dude, those orbs,
for a long time.
They have like this red tinge to them. They look great.
I wonder if that's because of the demon shader.
The shader, it might be, but it still looked cool.
It does look good. Agreed. But now we saw Acid playing so solid earlier in the day. I mean, he's just looking really good to make it all the way back up through losers. Of course, playing a great character. The really interesting thing about today is, of course, we've been talking about how this is the first tournament, one of the first tournaments using the new patch, but the rest of this tournament was actually before the patch. So these players did make it up to top 8 pre-patch, and now they're having to deal with all of these adjustments, and that alone is a skill within itself. Who can adapt the fastest?
Yeah, and right there was an adaptation in itself of DJT's combo doing 1-1-2 into trait cancel because Black Magic no longer works.
Exactly. And a good choice to throw back into the corner. One more trait activation could do it, as long as DJT can survive for that long. Only a few more seconds. Just has to be patient, and this should be
nice backdash. That was clean.
That was from a backdash that isn't really good, to be honest.
No, his
one of the worst backdashes in the game
at all.
DJT playing the patient game. Of course, we were talking about how the zoning from Black Adam was not nerfed at all.
Down 2, good confirm. And to be honest, 300 damage off of a down 2 is actually quite good. Because down 2 scales very heavily the damage that you do afterwards.
Yeah, Black Adam has always been one of the characters with the highest amounts of damage off of a down 2.
Yeah. Mainly in part because of his trait. But again, contesting the bats with down 2 is actually really great to see.
Still trying to kill me? For contact, I will prevail.
Well, it's looking like he's prevailing pretty hard.
Yeah, he's prevailing pretty hard right now.
Ooh, nice instant dive kick, but again, the down 2 trade with the trait. Very smart. That requires such a very specific knowledge of the timing. And it only works because Black Adam has such a fast down 2. Actually, both of these characters with some of the fastest down 2s in the game.
And I gotta say, the amount of contentions that DJT has won simply by doing forward 2 at the right time to check a bat or down 2 has been almost 80–90%. Like Denzel has so far
Black Adam wins.
Essentially told Acid that he can't get away with anything at all.
Yeah, and he really hasn't been able to. We saw earlier against Chico that Acid really likes to try and control the zoning game, but against a character like Black Adam, you cannot, just because if you trade a Batarang with a low lightning, that is a huge trade in the favor of Black Adam. So you really have to try to get in on him, or at least get into a range where you can threaten him with trade, or throw out a projectile without maybe trading so easily. It's really just gonna be in control in that range for Black Adam. And Acid, of course, showing earlier also against Chico that he's comfortable getting within that range, but it's a different game. You have Black Adam, who really has to choose his spots in zoning. He does a ton of damage. He controls a very specific amount of spaces. Deadshot, it's more of like a constant zoning where, there's going to be some sort of projectile on the screen almost at all times.
Oh, we'll see what adjustments come out of Acid here. Starting off pretty well with a sweep.
Ooh, nice backdash, but actually if you backdash the last hit of back 1-1-2 like that, it's very plus for Batman. So that could have been Batman's turn again.
Especially with Adam's backdash.
That's true. Oh, and a good jump out. That's going to give DJT so much space.
And I love the way that DJT just floats back.
He does. He just holds back. He could literally be like, I don't know, taking a drink of water with the other hand if he wanted to.
How do you know he doesn't?
I don't know he doesn't. That wouldn't surprise me. DJT is quite the character.
Man, do you remember how normal he used to be.
Yeah.
Before, I'm gonna say before the Yomi days.
It's absolutely true, and in fact, even a little bit before that.
No, you know what it is? I think that he was in the scene for so long, and Denzel actually used to be really shy. So if you didn't know him before MKX, like he would talk to you and stuff, but he generally kept to himself, as did MIT. Although MIT, I would say, was a little more outgoing. But once MKX started, and then he really started to travel more and more, and like he got to know everyone in the scene, and then he eventually went to Yomi, and he had all those guys to constantly talk to. Man, he developed like a completely different persona. And it's honestly genuinely great to see, because Denzel is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, 2012 DJT and 2016 DJT are like completely different people.
Yeah.
Maybe he was actually replaced.
The Yomi guys just actually killed the original and made a robot secondary. Yeah, it's possible.
The DJT clone. So one day he's going to turn, his eyes are going to start glowing red.
Yeah, because I remember, man, he just used to be this quiet, really kind of to himself type of dude. Still talented. I mean, his gameplay has always been ridiculously good, but he's ridiculous now. Like he's at this level where he's untouchable as far as personalities go.
Yeah. During, well, actually, this is pretty much guaranteed for Acid. It's going to be nearly impossible to avoid the chip, especially with this amount of meter, and he is going to tie it up 1-1. But I just wanted to say, just to go along with that, back in testing for Mortal Kombat X, DJT was there, and it would be like 2 in the morning, and he would just be screaming the Jurassic Park theme at the top of his lungs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, for like an hour and a half straight, just screaming at the top of his lungs, to the point where like people were like, "What are you doing, man?" Yeah, he's quite the character. And of course, if any of you haven't seen the Smack Talk video back from the MKX Pro League in season
the finals, right?
2? Well, 2 of them.
Well,
so,
2 of them, yeah. Season 3. It was season 3, yeah.
Yeah. So both the Smack Talk video for one of the weeks that involved him, and then of course the whole entire piece that was made about him in for the season 3 finals.
Yep.
Those are amazing. Like, even if you don't care about MKX or Mortal Kombat X or have never seen it, you should watch those videos.
That video alone
give you a perfect example of why we're talking so much about DJT's character. But right now, it's looking pretty close. I really still think Black Adam's an interesting choice of a character for him in this game.
Well, so at EVO, he told me that he's like, you essentially have to pick the one true character if you want to win. And that was obviously before the nerfs. But now that Adam is nerfed, I mean, he's still a very good character, but he's just not as obviously ridiculous as he used to be, right? So for him to stick with Adam, I agree, is interesting, because he also has Green Lantern, who is another good character. In fact, we've seen Gross do fantastic with him.
Yeah, Gross, who actually has also been playing Black Adam.
No, I know, but I'm saying he started with Lantern as well, and he has found success with the character.
Definitely. Those two actually were both some of the most famous Green Lantern players from Injustice 1.
Yeah.
But of course, Green Lantern's quite a different character, so understandable that they're trying other people alongside him. And honestly, DJT has always been a relatively patient player who likes high damage punishes, likes good neutral.
The 7th god help, 6 will be sufficient.
Yeah, you can count them in the background right now. Count all 6. Actually, one of them I think falls off of the stage once it's a little bit more battle damage. Oh no, actually these aren't the gods. Wow, I'm actually dumb. These are the Sins. This is the Rock of Eternity.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I'm really glad you did.
Yeah. I'm caught myself. That's two dumb comments today. We'll keep them counted. Ooh, that instant dive kick and a nice flip out, but it's not gonna be able to get a punish from it. Still gets an opening.
Ooh, gets opened up with a jump too, though. Oh, it's still 228 damage from low lightning. That is still very much a real thing.
Yeah, and half of that for a normal lightning, a little bit more than half of that. Did he just laugh as he activated trait? I feel like I've never heard that happen before.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that before either.
That is amazing. Oh, and that's enough. Especially using that meter. DJT closing out the third game.
Black Adam wins.
That's such a great way to close out matches. Now,
I'm trying to think who else would be a really good character for Denzel. Obviously, GL. That was starter. That was like his starter pack character. Who else did he really play, though, in Injustice?
In Injustice 1, he
played Doomsday a little bit.
He played some Doomsday. He played some... I think he played a little bit of Flash, just a teensy bit.
Yeah, I think I also remember a little bit of Flash.
He beat me with Flash at SoCal Regional, so I should remember that. I don't know why I forgot about that. But
I know
yeah.
he messes a bit with Blue Beetle in this game as well. But he feels the way that a lot of Blue Beetle players feel is that it takes too much effort to win with that character.
Right, but now that damage across the board has been nerfed a little bit, and Beetles has stayed the same.
Bleedle. Bleedle does some good damage.
Oh, somebody was saying that on Twitter the other day. Bleedle. You should use that like Blattum.
Kind of.
Ooh, nice
catch.
Conversion. Oh, and a sweep ender. Interesting. Went for a mix-up, but a good delayed wake-up.
Yeah,
you very
no one was
rarely
home.
see a delayed wake-up necessary against Batman because he doesn't really mix you up. But when you see a sweep ender, that means that your opponent's really most likely going for Oki. Oh, and just so much damage again from Meteorburn Low Lightning. Ooh, a nice check. I love when Black Adams used Lightning Hands in neutral as a footsies tool.
It actually has quite a... Oh, down two tried to cancel into Lightning Hands. Speaking of... Oh, but the armor gets clipped by Ford 1-2. Yeah, Lightning Hands has deceptive range in neutral, and it's safe. So, I mean, it's not a bad tool at all to be used. But the reason you don't see it is because Forward 1... Like Forward 1 or Forward 1-2 is just such a good tool, right? Especially if you have a trait to cancel it. Sometimes I've seen actually back 1-2 is decent because the back 1, although it's short, the 2 that comes out afterwards is super far. It comes out super far.
Right, and we see it catch back dashes and jump backs.
And it can also be canceled in trait for some really good damage. So I mean, those are kind of the reasons he has good neutral tools as it is. But that's also one of them.
It is true. Well, he's got more than he needs. So right now, DJT on match point just needs to play defensive and slowly chip away at Acid. Acid, though, he could make it back. He just needs to figure out how to get this momentum started. Oh, dashes under, and DJT has been able to just so flawlessly escape these situations with mobility. I mean,
that's pretty much all but gonna do it. All he has to do is activate trait.
And the Black Adam B&B.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to do anything here.
He could meter burn roll, but he's choosing just to walk forward. It's almost out.
He does not meter, that's why. But he does get a dive kick, and that is it. 3-1. DJT MIT takes it.
Black Adam wins.
Over.
Gotta guess it. Yeah, DJT moving on in the bracket with that super solid play.
I just thought I'd bring it back, DJT MIT, because no one knows he's one person.
I know. For a while, people were actually calling him that, DJT MIT. But
that's a throwback name for it.
Yeah, it's seriously just the fact that the two brothers each had their own, or sorry, each just shared one
account, yeah. But anyways, very well played to him. Acid also doing a good job of kind of adapting, but Denzel's patience is so obnoxious. It's not Theo levels of patience, right? But it is also very hard to open him up, and fortunately for Acid, he wasn't able to do it multiple times, which now means that Crazy and Pretty Flacco will have to play to see who gets the pleasure of joining DJT in the bracket.
Yeah, now Crazy and Pretty Flacco have played quite a few times in bracket, more than a few times, really. And it tends to end up in Crazy's favor. That is just a matchup that I don't think most Cyborgs are comfortable with.